Okay, so welcome back, and I hope you have done your homework and you have written down exactly what is it that you want to achieve out of this workshop. And you've really thought about what are those objectives, what are those skills, what is it that you want to have a huge impact on, whether it's your life, your relationships. And if you haven't done that, then it is time to pause because it's really no point in continuing without you really giving this a serious thought. So, if that's the case, just pause, go back, finish that, and come back, and then we can continue with this video. All right, and for the ones who've done it, brilliant. So, let's continue now. Where were we with Rama? So, Rama is ready to embark on this journey. And he is just wondering, okay, wait a minute. We're going to go on this whole journey around discovering superpowers, but what is a hero? And who is really a hero? And what makes somebody a hero? So, is it like having superpowers of, for example, think of a superhero that you have in your mind. It could be, let's say, Spider-Man. So if that is the superhero you want, to think about, then what is it that Rama needs to do? Wear what, tights, or have superpowers of like spinning around? So what are those superpowers that one needs to have? Let's just pause and for a minute, let me ask you, who is your superhero? Of course, we're in a video, so I can't wait for your responses, but please do give it a thought. Because if your superhero is somebody, let's say like Batman, who of course has all the money and he has the courage and he keeps building all these fantastic gadgets, or it could be, any other superhero that you have in your mind. The question is, what does a superhero need to be successful, to feel like a superhero? He actually needs, along with all these superpowers, he needs to have a villain, because without a villain, he can't really use these superpowers, and that then doesn't let him showcase all the skills and capabilities and all of these wonderful things that he has. And what if we have a superhero who doesn't use any of these fantastic powers that he has? Then he's no superhero, but he is like a no superhero, or an underperformer as such. So, you know, for a moment, what is the prime objective that a superhero really, what is it that he really does? So, a superhero actually saves the world, or he's constantly helping people. My question to you is, do you help people? Of course, there are opportunities where we get to help people, but just helping people does not make us a superhero. It's for a moment. Let's just go back in history, and let me ask you, who are the leaders that come to your mind? When you go back in history and you think of all these successful leaders, which superhero leader comes to your mind? It could be, let's say, Gandhi, or it could be Sheikh Zayed, who actually got all the tribes of the of the Arab population together and created this unified nation called the UAE. Or maybe use your superhero powers not for good things like Hitler, and be a supervillain. But yeah, so the question is, these leaders are remembered simply because they were able to create an impact and make a difference, because they had a problem to deal with. But do you really remember leaders who must have been good leaders but in peaceful times? And we don't remember such leaders because they've just done, good work, but we didn't really have big challenges for us to remember them because they didn't come and save the day, so to say. They just managed the status quo and just doing, or doing that doesn't really make you a superhero. And in time to come, if you just keep doing that kind of work, you will soon be forgotten. So it's really important that, for one to be a superhero, you should have a villain or a big problem. And that villain could be this big problem that you're facing. For a moment, let's just think about, let's say, we've got Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is sitting on this building, and he's looking at this shoplifter, and he's thinking that, okay, I'm going to now go and, wait for the shoplifter to come, and then uh, stop him there. Well, that's really not using superhero powers. That's really being a super security guard, and that doesn't make him a superhero or get the excitement in for what he'll be remembered. The one that gets him to be remembered is when he has a super villain to deal with, something really challenging. So a superhero needs a supervillain for him to be successful, or to showcase his superpowers. Now, this villain could really be just big problems that we're dealing with. So, if I have to ask you, do you have big problems in your life right now? And if the answer is yes, then that is a good a good situation to be in, because you can then start using your superpowers and be a superhero to turn things around. Now, big problems really don't mean, you know, problems like you've got to save the world, or let's say the company's going through bankruptcy and you've got to do something to save it. But when I talk about big problems, we're talking about, let's say there's something coming in the way of you, not being able to be the best version of yourself. Or it could be things like, uh, uh, challenges in the organization where there are barriers to developing people. Those could be big problems. Medium problems could be a problem that's just occurred maybe today or a week, and you've got to deal with it. And a small problem could be a problem like, I've just forgotten my keys. So bottom line is that you need to have a problem to be a superhero. Big problems, big superhero, because you can use all your powers. Medium problems, you'll be a medium, hero. Small problems, a small hero. But the point is that if you don't have any problems, then guess what? There is no opportunity for you to shine and be that superhero. So really go back, and I'd like you to do this as homework. Yes, homework again. That's the fun part of this whole program, where it really gives you time to go back and reflect and think about what are those big problems that you're facing in your life right now, where you get an opportunity to use all these superpowers that you have, and be the superhero of the day. So good luck. Enjoy reflecting and doing that homework, and I will see you on the next video.